This is the switch up. You are still connected on the wireless. I am your husky host, Makaziwe, and today we are having a conversation with a creative director from Gqeberha, Phila Goduka. Thank you so much for being here, my brother. How you doing?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
It's always wonderful to come back to the wireless.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Nah, cool, man. So, for anybody who doesn't know who Phila Goduka is, do you mind just getting us into, give us a little brief on who you are?
Okay, yeah. Igama lami Phila. Phila Goduka. Some people know me as OG Pizzo. But OG Pizzo is a brand that I started. I think when I was doing first year PR, I was in PR class, and I needed to come up with a name for something. Then I was like, OG Pizzo. That's so I always kept that name throughout.
Yeah.
I'm a creative. I do film. I do film. Anything creative, man. I'm always in a creative space. But my biggest thing or my biggest attraction is that I'm interested in film and branding in terms of advertising and selling brands
cool.
and media. So I'm more media than film. But in terms of in media, there's also in advertising, there's an element of film. If you have to shoot a 30-second advert or something like that. So I'm more into that. That's what I'm into. But because I freelance, I take anything that has money right now. Up until I can afford to say, okay, no, this type of job I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's me in a nutshell.
Okay, so when did the love for film actually start? Was there anything particular that inspired you to go into film instead of anything else in the media industry? Because the media is quite wide. So why film? What made you fall in love with film?
I think I've been the person that I am since a very young age. I was a very inquisitive child, and so I was raised by my grand, and I used to say to her, I used to ask her a lot of questions. I still ask a lot of questions. So I would ask her how do they get the picture onto this box? And back in those days, we used to have a box, not like a flat screen or anything like that. So I'll be like, okay, how do these people get into this box? Do they know that we're watching them? And then my grand would be like, no. Go around the TV and ask them. Get there, knock, and ask them. How did this happen? So I was always inquisitive to find out how do you do a movie or how do you get it onto the TV screen. So years would pass, and I would dabble into a bit of music, but I always knew that I wanted to be in the media space. Hence, I was doing PR. I'm still doing PR. So what happens now is that passion was cultivated through film, but I knew that back in the days we didn't have schools after or weren't aware of such opportunities. I think the internet in 2011 wasn't that big of a thing or as a sensation, or people went into googling stuff more. So I left to Cape Town, and then in Cape Town, what happened is I got to experience my first professional set, where I think it was a Hollywood movie, in fact, because I was walking in the CBD in Cape Town, and as I'm walking, I'm like, oh, when I look up, this place looks like New York, and only to realize it's a set, but so what happens is, they sometimes take breaks and they let people cross. So I happened to be walking at that stage where they were letting people cross, and I was on my phone. And when I look up, no, man, I'm like, hey, where am I? And it looks like New York, and I got to experience film like that. So that really motivated me, and then in my journeys in Cape Town, I got to do some BTS for a music video for Universal Music. I got to do BTS for a shoot with professional models. First time ever experiencing professional models with Cosmopolitan magazine. So that really motivated me, and I used to work, so I used to take sick days just to go film, and and then I found out, man, in terms of my hours in film, I'm making more than my monthly salary, or almost close to.
Yeah.
my monthly salary, and that's just like 4 or 5 hours working. I'm like, no, man, but it wasn't consistent. I came back, and then through the media workshop, I got an opportunity to study film.
Yeah.
You know,
When was this?
2021, that COVID time. Yeah,
2021.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah, yeah,
okay.
yeah, yeah. So we started. I started as an NQF4, which is like a FET certificate, which is equivalent to like a matric. So, but I was already filming stuff. You know, there was a lady, Usese Tukom Osepo, where she's like big in PR. We were doing a YouTube series before I even enrolled into the media workshop. So when I enrolled in media workshop, I got to find out more, you know, about film and
Production side.
the production side. Yeah, like what really goes into film. How do you pitch for like a show on SABC and things like that, and how to write proposals, how to, you know, manage a budget, you know. And then initially I wanted to become a producer when I came in, because like I'd been like studying all these project management courses, you know, and I'd been doing events, so like running stuff and, you know, coordinating people, that's what my thing was. But then when I was there, I learned how to edit and perfect my editing. But then I wanted to be a director now, you know, in terms of like dictate the movement, you know, the shots and
But they
everything.
offered all of that, right, in media workshop.
Yeah. But in terms of like, so now when you major is, especially you major in your, like when you're doing NQF5 in your final year, which is a high certificate, and when you major, you get to choose which role. So throughout the year, there's different projects, you know. So you get to choose which role and what type of role you want to play. So I chose, like, I was always director. So sometimes I'd be in a group where I'd be the director and I wouldn't trust the guy shooting. So I'd have to shoot. Shooters. Yeah. So, you know, so when you're director, you're kind of like the boss. You kind of like dictate. So I was like, okay, just to get the product that I want, so let me shoot this. So, like, it was a fun experience. And through them, I got to work on my first SABC sets, because they had like a show called The Light they used to play on Tuesday mornings. And one of the mentors there, or lecturers there, Oprah Hubert, he was like, okay, please come with me, you know, on these days. So I think I did like 5 to 8 episodes. No, I think it was like five episodes with them, where we just went around documenting all these wonderful stories and how people found the light, and, you know, how did they cope. So I think with what I'm doing right now, a lot of it was inspired by that, you know. And I always thank Mr. Hubert for the opportunity.
I actually remember Mr. Hubert.
Yeah,
I do.
Yeah. So yeah, that's how like my passion got cultivated, and that's how I'm here today, you know.
So what do you call yourself? Like, what is your title? Are you an artist? Are you a videographer? What are you? Are you a creative?
I think.
Like,
sorry to cut you there,
No, it's cool.
but I think I'm an artist in terms of like people, when you think artist, they think singer.
Yeah.
No. Like you know, an artist is, you know, it's being able to craft something out of nothing.
Yeah.
You know, so I think, you know, that's why I refer to myself as an artist, because it doesn't take me it doesn't take a lot for me to get going. Like, you just give me inspiration and a bit of leads, you know, and I'll find a way on how to do things. It's not necessarily having to draw. For example, there was a time where we used to host these podcast sessions with my friends, you know, and then we did so many episodes. We were like, okay, we're going to celebrate the end of the season with a big show. But the only problem is we didn't have no money. You know, none of us had money like that. Unemployed, you know, young guys just trying to do something positive. So yeah, we went around, asked a few people, got a few, you know, bit of free stuff and a bit of money. And it was like a 2-day festival. And I think the only money that we were able to use, like disposable money that we had, was about 5,500 rand, and we were able to pull off a very successful seminar on the Friday at the Athenaeum. And then we got this lady who had like a res. So at that res, they had like a basement at the bottom, and she was like, yeah, you guys can come in here for free. Cool. Yeah. And then some people paid for our sound and cameras and stuff, which it looks like professional and stuff. So after all of that, we were like, what? We did this with 5,500 rand, you know. So that, like, when you're an artist, you know, you craft something out of nothing. So I always say I'm an artist. because it's a very broader term than being
True.
a videographer or a photographer. It's just also just so boring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Well, so because we still gonna go into the whole 12-piece document, because
Yeah.
I really wanna get into that with
Yeah.
you, because that's the whole reason why we got you here.
Yeah.
So, but just before that, let's just take a quick breather, and I'll just play like a song or two. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's cool. Let's go.
Alright. Stay connected. Chris Brown with Beautiful People. Just before that, we were having a chat with Phila Goduka, who is an artist all-rounder. He's a filmmaker. He is into the media industry, more PR and advertising, digital marketing. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm aware that you have a 12-piece documentary, right, that just came out. I want you to help us understand how that came about and what type of content you choose to shoot. Because, when somebody hears documentary, it could be more serious stuff, So just tell us what you do and what content you shoot and why.
So I came up with this concept of Itivya Machita, which is what we call the documentary series. I was with a group of friends who happened to be creative, and then I was like, you know what, man, I could get episodes out of these guys. Each of these guys does something different. I had friends who were they studied fashion design, but they were working as buyers for one of these FMCG companies, like a giant. So I was around her. She did that. There was a guy who was an electronic live music performer, which is more like house, but when they perform, they play the music from scratch. I was around people who paint, so because a friend of mine in Cape Town used to host these Sunday lunches where people from all walks of life, they would just come together and we just eat, and then it would just be an environment like that where we built a lot of friends and friendship circles were developed. So from then I started documenting. I did my first documentary called These Are My Friends, which was based off a album I was supposed to do in Cape Town featuring all the artists that I knew. And some of those guys right now, they famous and big, and back then it was still struggle come up, so I still got those tapes from there.
Yeah.
And that's what inspired the whole thing of these documentaries, that we shouldn't only celebrate somebody once they make it in Joburg or once they make it in Cape Town. Then we want to claim them. We yo, we know this guy, know. Also in places like Gqeberha, there's not a lot of independent media in terms of there's no independent vlogs or something like that, here that promote whether it's tourism or artistry from here, there's not a lot of maybe of what I do as well, where there's people that document guys on the come up. Some of these guys are getting popular. Maybe in a year or two they're gonna be famous. They're gonna be successful in their careers. There's not a lot of guys that are going to unknown fashion designers or brands that are known in PE, but they haven't maybe blown up in PE. And documenting those guys. And so this whole 12 piece was just bringing that together. And when I got here, because I'd be doing something similar in Cape Town. Then when I got here, I was like, you know what, I'm bored. So let me do what I do best, hang around a bunch of artists. Then we started creating these, called it Divya Machita. So the type of content that we do is we follow a lot of events, especially outdoor events, things that are different, away from the club, safe spaces. In episode 1, we had Shosholoza Cricket, which is a cricket festival at the Warmer Cricket Academy. And these guys, they play cricket. But then there's a party, there's stalls, there's everything for everyone, man. So, that's beautiful. And then we cover we have a lot of interviews with artists and entrepreneurs and people like that. So it's just mostly based on the stories from whether these creative entrepreneurs, because I believe to be a creative, you kind of have to be an entrepreneur in a way. So some of them use these videos as kind of like EPKs, you know. So when they, especially the guys that do music, maybe you know, with them I'd maybe follow like a few shows, especially at the beginning. I used to like follow, because it took me like 6 months to a year to record these, because I'd follow people, and with me following them I'd catch a concert or two. So if we compile this and we make it into like a 6-minute video where you're talking about how you started a music career, who you are, where it's going, what you achieved, and you put in all those concert performances, that's an EPK. So if you're trying to play in Lesotho or something like that, they're like, okay, send us a link. Yeah, so some guys have used it as that. There's this one hand, Cebu, and she had a golf event, you know, where it was like teaching black women, you know, how to golf. So I managed to capture that, and then when she was doing, because she's based in Joburg now, but she's from here, and when she was doing her event in Joburg, she used that video to try and attract more sponsors.
Okay, cool.
So like I'm very happy that I'm adding value in that sense to the culture, you know. It's not just limited to 12 videos. I'm planning to do more, you know, and more and more and more.
Because I was gonna ask, is it just 12 or?
No. I think I'll drop another episode next week, a bonus, you know. You know, 12 tracks plus a couple of bonus tracks before I go to season 2.
Okay, so there's season 2 coming.
Season 2, not yet. I've just got these bonus tracks, bonus episodes that I want to get through first. And then we'll think about it. You know, the problem is this thing requires money, you know.
Well,
so with season 2, you must have money.
Proper.
Yeah, like there must be a change from season 1, you know.
There must be a difference.
Yeah, there must be a difference, you know.
Yeah.
So until I can secure people, and you know, if there's anyone listening and you know want to get involved, you know, just for, you know, showing love or, you know, sponsoring anything, you know, they're more than welcome. Because a lot of this has like recording these 12 episodes has like taken a lot out of me, because now, you know, it's an expensive hobby, because I'm not getting paid for this. No one's getting paid. Yeah, so I have to, like, you know, whether it's catching Ubers, because I have to catch Ubers because I've got equipment now. I can't really take a taxi or anything like that, you know. So so when we go into season 2, hopefully, you know, we'll have the things that makes the things
to happen.
Yeah.
Okay, so because of time, I would really love to go deeper into the whole background of the documentaries and why that and all of that. But right now, I'd like to ask you to advise anybody who is a young creative who's trying to branch into the industry. Like, what would you say to them? And also, please share your handles, your social handles, so that people can follow and find you on social media.
Okay, so advice. Okay, but even though I'm big on people learning and seeing things for themselves, because I feel like they appreciate it more than, you know, just advising. You know, I found that because I've got a little brother who was also in the same industry, and I would always give him advice, but you know, he will always go his own way. I'm like, hey, you know, sometimes, you know, and sometimes my mom will be like, okay, let him learn on his own. So any advice to anybody is like, I think with me, use what you have, man. Like, use what you have, you know. A lot of people get stuck in the planning process. No, I don't have this. No, I don't have this. No, I don't have that. So like, you have to use what you have, you know, and then in the process, somebody will find you, or you will hear about a certain place where you can go get what you.
A door.
Yeah. So
basically, start with what you have.
Yeah, with what you have. Beg, borrow, don't steal.
Okay, so where can we follow you on social media?
So on social media, it's OG Pizzo everything. So it's OGPHIZOW. So if you just search that, OGPHIZOW. So yeah, and then on Facebook, my Facebook page is O.G space PHIZOW. So that's O.G space PHIZOW. So yeah, if you just search OG Pizzo, then you know I'll come up, and that's probably me, because I don't think there's a lot of them.
No, I don't know another OG Pizzo. I don't. Anyway, thank you so much, Phila Goduka. This is an absolute honor. Thank you, really, my brother, for coming. We did kind of go through the courtesy of doing a little bit of digging, and we're going to play a favorite song. your favorite song.
Yeah.
If that's okay with you.
Is it right? I like it because it makes me feel a certain way. It's like industry baby. Yeah.
Industry Baby by Lil Nas and Jack Harlow is up next. Stay connected.